Giving up, 3 third down touchdowns. I mean, that's a big one. I mean, we gave up 4 third downs all day and 3 more touchdowns. That's something that we've been pretty good at this season. And, just losing those opportunities, those were things that you would say, well, you play that game again and we don't make some of those mistakes, we win it. So that's always a hard way to take a loss.
What are your feelings going against an offense this fast? Like, do you enjoy the challenge, or is it stressful for you?
I think every game is stressful in its own way, and that adds to it this week for sure. It's just how do you practice it? How do you get the scouts to run and understand the tempo of this? How do you get the guys trained without, it's a fine line, especially playing this late in the season. You want to save the guys' legs some, and you don't want to wear them down, but you got to go fast to make sure that they're prepared to see fast. So it adds a different level of stress during the week for sure. I think every game day is the same. It's always stressful as you get into a game for sure.
Where do they rank in terms of fastest offenses you faced just in your career in general?
Well, they were from Utah State. We played them the last 2 years. When I was at Wyoming, and they're definitely have the ability to go faster than anybody else or at least as fast as everybody we played. They're definitely the fastest tempo guys that. I'm trying to think anyone faster. I guess I don't know anybody that runs much faster. They have the ability to go at 8-10 seconds a play. And so I'm sure for media guys they don't enjoy that all the time. And because they can't even watch a replay or whatever. That's the hard part is they go so fast. It's hard to get all that stuff done.
How much of that background of having faced them at Utah State do you think that's going to help?
They're a little bit different, but I think it'll help some. I mean, but it'll help them too. But both teams have seen each other, so they kind of know what we do and we kind of know what they do. So it helps us a little bit there where we can, at least we've had the experience of saying, hey, this is how we practiced against, and this way we did it one time, it worked pretty good, and this time it didn't work very good. So just preparing the guys, at least we had a plan going into the game. I think there's 2 different teams. We're coaching a different team and they got a different team, so that's a little different, but at least the plan going into, we felt like, hey, we've done some things that have helped us, and hopefully that helps at least prepare the guys the correct way.
They're an air raid offense, obviously, but they still have 18 rushing touchdowns with 20 passing. I mean, how important is it to not forget that they can still do some damage?
Well, I think that people misunderstand them too a little bit that way. Yeah, they have that element to their offense, but they're still a run first team. A lot of their fast tempo plays are run plays, and they do play with a tight end all the time. There's a little bit of difference between like the Leach 10 personnel that got 4 wide all the time and throw it all over the place, and these guys, they'll use their tight ends and they'll keep them in a box and they'll run the ball still. And I think that makes it even stronger, because you can't just go out there and say, hey, we're going to roll out 6 DBs and let's go, and see who can play fastest. But you at least have to be sound of the run game as well, which makes it difficult in a different kind of way. Their passing side's a lot the same, but they still run the ball quite a bit.
Has trying to save legs in practice given any young or different guys a chance to kind of impress you in the last couple
Sure.
of weeks?
I mean, we've been using, like Will Jones, Tyrone Lewis, some of those guys to come over, and give them a little bit more reps. And who knows how the season will progress, with the redshirt rule, try to pick and choose our times when we play those guys. But at least they're getting an opportunity to practice with us, Echo's been up. We've had some different guys up and to do those things, but it's still about, we might go fast for 5 and then slow down and just talk to them for a minute. Hey, just take a break. Let scouts take a break, But, yeah, they've been practicing with us, and I think that between that and the bowl prep, it's always good to have those extra practices for those guys, especially if they have a game left. If they have a game left and they have, can play in a bowl game and they get like another spring ball underneath their belt, the chances of them playing in that game if they have a game left is really good.
Notice you mixed Jonathan in at linebacker a little bit last week. Is that a move you might think it could be more this week?
No, probably not, because they have a tight end in there. Mostly that was for 4 wide receiver sets where we could play him in there. If it's a situational thing, maybe. But John's a guy that he's got that build. I mean, shoot, you'd like him to be a linebacker. He's more safety, but he's a guy that can do a lot of things we ask a lot of DBs to do. He can play man, he can move all over the place. So if we see more 10 personnel teams, for sure.
Khalid mentioned he'd never played defensive line before he got here. Has it impressed you how quickly he's progressed to that position?
Yeah, he's a guy that athletically he matches what you look for. I mean, we always fight in the room. I'm going to steal him back, but I don't know. He's pretty athletic there and can run, and it gives you that it gives you that different sense of juice off the edge. You know, with the reps that he's gotten at D end, I think that he's done a really good job. I don't know that he's ready to play all the time in base situations, but you know, to be a pass rusher and do those things, I think he's done an excellent job.
Different injuries for sure, but how are guys like Eric Gallen and Justin Hughes just doing physically and with the program?
Good. I think Eric's got another surgery coming up a little while. He's got to do some stuff with his knee. I saw him yesterday. He was crutching around. He's in a pretty good place, you know, at least. He's kind of come to terms with it. But he's got to get some movement and stuff like that so he can go in and do his second surgery. Justin's good. You know, he's in meetings every day, has been. You know, he travels with us. He's kind of, you know, a little bit of the juice on the sideline. He stays connected so he doesn't, you know, he's a ball guy. You know, that's what he loves to do, and he wants to be part of ball. And he, you know, he'll be on the sideline. He does it during practice where, you know, if someone's got something, he'll go coach a guy and do that kind of stuff. So it keeps him connected. He's doing well.
How much have injuries and the depth element reduced your margin for error on the field this year?
You know, I think that happens every year. You know, as you get nicked up, you would like it to be, you know, you'd rather it be kind of more scattered. So, you know, because you start to run out of guys at certain spots. But it's hard, you know. I mean, when you go into game planning and you say, okay, hey, you'd like to do this, who do we have that can do that, you know? And it just becomes thin. And sometimes that leads to, you know, the mental breakdown sometimes. You know, you get to play 65 or 70 or whatever on a game day, or, you know, especially playing a fast team like this, sometimes that stuff, it's not so much the me doing my job, it's the me doing my job fast, repetitively when I'm tired, and it's hard to replicate when you're in play 70 and they're still going fast and now I got to do something. You know, those are the things that we are breaking down a little bit, and that's where the depth hurts us, I think, more so than maybe you know, the playmaking. You know, who's ever on the field is playing, and they're playing, and they're the starter. We got to go with it, and we got to come up with a plan. It's the lack of, okay, well, we can roll in 3 or 4 other guys to give that guy a break that's been hurting us more than anything else.
Trade Deshaun, another trade Deshaun question.
Yeah.
He started 45 games in his career, and I can't find another guy at K-State in 20 years that's been able to start 45 games at defensive tackle.
That's hard to do.
This day and age, how rare is that? And what's it say about his ability?
Very rare. You know, I think that's an uncommon thing, you know, and I think that it says, you know, a lot about his ability, but also his preparation towards the off season, you know, because really you prepare yourself during that time to be able to take a beating and be able to go that long. You know, I hope to say he's playing less snaps a game now than he did last year, because I know his play count was crazy last year when we looked at it. But, you know, that guy, he's a trooper, and he does what's right. And you hope that, you know, through that, you know, he trained the guys in that room, you know, the Wileys, the Eli Huggins, you know, the guys coming up to be able to say, okay, that's really the standard, and that's what I have to do in the off season. And that's really, you know, a tribute to him and the strength coaches to say, listen, they got his body right and got him able to play for that long, because that's a hard thing to do. And it takes great mental toughness. You know, you can't take that away from the guy either.
Back at Big 12 Media Days and then into the preseason, both you and Coach Kleiman really praised what you thought Cody could do this year. And how much, I guess, is this injury kind of mucked up what you thought could have? I mean, he's got 7 tackles the last 2 games total, but it's just that I'm sure you thought he could have really done a lot more.
Sure, I was kind of hoping he would be able to roll in more and take some of the stress off of Daquan, you know, and play a ton of special teams, you know, and that injury, it was a hard one for him, you know. I mean, he had to do nothing for, I mean, I don't know how long he was out, like a month and a half or something. I mean, it was a long time. He could do nothing. So even when he got back, he wasn't the same. I mean, you got, you know, it's like, okay, hey, I'm just starting fall camp all over again. So it takes you some time in there, and I know he's played more the last 2 weeks. I know this week he's going to be on special teams quite a bit, and he should play at linebacker too. So, you know, I think he's getting close to where he was during fall camp, you know, which, you know, he looked pretty good during fall camp. So if we can keep him there, it'll be good.